Is the ascension happening now? Is there spiritual warfare? I want to address this, and maybe this resonates with you and will bring you some peace of mind and bring you empowerment. I had a client call me for our monthly call. He and I haven't really gotten into ascension stuff. He was really worried about this, and he started tuning into a lot that was out there about the spiritual warfare, and that there is a spiritual war between the light and dark and good and evil, and the cabal and the Illuminati and these dark service to self organizations and entities, and that unless people have been preparing the way, elevating their vibration, that they're going to get left behind, that the ascension is happening and that he might get left behind. And I can see how someone can get wrapped up in this. I've been a part of many different spiritual communities, kind of like floating around on the edges. I would like to share my perspective. I would not go as far to say that these things are dark forces or dark entities. I believe in unity, in oneness, that there is only one power that exists. In Taoism, there is the yin yang. Most people know of the light and the dark, and inside the dark there is a little dot or a little circle of the light, and in the light there is a little bit of the dark, and together they comprise the whole. So we live in a world of contrast, and because there is contrast, there can be a tendency to label things good or bad, right or wrong, evil or not evil. There is only one force, one power that unites everything. We are all connected. We are not separate from this power. Everything that this power, this force, this energy is, we also are, because we are one with it. We are the dark. We are the light. We are all of it. We are not separate from it. And so to fight against something, then we are fighting against ourselves. You might be asking, oh, does that mean I'm not supposed to do anything to change anything? I'm just supposed to allow terrible things to happen and not do anything? No. This doesn't mean that we don't work within this construct of this 3D world and not do anything. We don't just float by and accept everything, as I believe a lot of people interpret spiritual teachings. We just let everything go and just be love and accept everyone and everything. On the spiritual level, yes, we are all whole, complete, and perfect. We are all divine beings. We are all spiritual beings having a human experience. And in this human world, there are laws, there are rules that are in place. There are agreements that we make. And this is how we get by in this world. This is how we get by on this planet. Think of a video game. For those of you that are gamers, you get a new video game, you plug that thing in, you pop it in, and you're in this world. And if you know nothing about this game, you may wander around this world and go and figure out how it works. You may have an idea that it works like this, that it works like that there's certain rules and constructs that your player or your avatar is able to do these things, but not these things. And if they eat a mushroom, they can do extra things, but then once that wears off, then they're not able to do other things. And I believe that this world is much like that. This world operates much like a video game, where we learn the rules and the laws that are here. In the Toltec tradition, which is talked about by Don Miguel Ruiz in the book, The Four Agreements. In the Toltec tradition, their version of the creation story is that we were all born into this world and we started taking on agreements, starting with our parents or those who raised us. We learned about the world through them and we agreed to these things. Okay, in this world, these are the rules, these are the construct. We call this thing glasses. We call this thing a banana. We call this a bowl. We call this a mallet, right? We agree to this. And this agreement has been going on from the beginning of time, and we're creating this world together based on these agreements. And if we look at the evolution of humanity, we can see how those agreements change. All of a sudden, the world is different. There's things that exist in this world that we didn't know could exist. There's things that people are capable of that we didn't know was possible before. As we continue to build agreements upon agreements upon agreements. It used to be that we didn't think that a human was capable of running a 4-minute mile. And then someone ran a 4-minute mile, and then multiple people right away were able to do it. There was this boom where all of a sudden the rules changed collectively for everyone because one person didn't. This is like the 100th monkey scenario, that all of a sudden something is possible and then it's possible for everyone because that agreement or that rule has been broken. Is the ascension happening? Maybe. There's definitely a shift happening. People are waking up. People are waking up due to the contrast that is happening, due to the fear and the pain and the suffering. People waking up to realizing that we really are connected, that one little thing could happen and it could affect me personally, and it can also affect the world. As people go to the stores, they're like, there's no food, there's no toilet paper. We're starting to realize that everything has been built upon something previous to that. And it's like a house of cards. Like one little thing could cause a whole thing to come undone. And realizing how much we depend on the systems that are in place, how much we depend on each other, because we are each the people supporting these systems that are in place. And many people are reprioritizing, reevaluating, do I want to be a part of this system? Or do I want to be a part of a different system? Maybe I want to make sure that I have food available to me if something like this happens. Maybe I want to make sure that I have healthy food, nutrient-dense food that's been grown in sustainable and rich soil, that I don't want to be dependent on an external source for power. I want to get off grid so that I can be sovereign and sustainable and independent. People are waking up to this, and this pandemic has opened a lot of people's eyes to the way things are. Question comes back to, is there spiritual warfare? In some people's minds, it might feel like that there's these powers that be up in the top that are pulling the strings like a puppet master. And to a certain extent, that is the case. Yet this is a collective agreement. When people start questioning the agreements that they've made, they can opt out. And that may look like a collapse that happens. And if there is a collapse that happens, those that have been prepared have a better chance of survival. What does prepared mean? Does prepared mean those that have been doing a bunch of spiritual work that vibrate high, and they're just gonna like vibrate out of this 3D reality into an unseen dimension and be able to take their bodies with them? Maybe. And if that's the case, the predominant thought is that we're all going there together, that we need to get enough people online. We need to get the consciousness of the planet up in order for any of us to make it there. And that bodhisattvas, people that have reached a certain level of enlightenment that could leave this plane, have chosen to stay here to assist in the elevation of the whole, so that we're all elevating, we're all evolving, we're all taking consciousness and life to the next level of existence. And the thought is that there's these dark powers that don't want us to do that, that are fighting against it, and that the virus and so many different things that happen in our society are a way to control and keep that ascension from happening, because they feed and thrive on it not happening. Again, this may be true. If it is true, though, is it serving? Is it serving to focus my attention on that and to feel that I'm powerless, that there's some force out there that is controlling me and my power? I don't think it is. Instead, I can look for solutions. I can look for ways to be more empowered, to be more sustainable, to be more self-sufficient. I can have a seed bank, right? I can have connections with people with various talents and abilities so that we can support one another. And so some people think that preparing the way means those that know how to work the land, those that know how to sustain ourselves if something happens. And other people believe that it's all about vibration and energy. Regardless, I don't feel that putting attention and putting focus on things that are outside of our power and believing that that power, that force, that energy is capable of enslaving me or limiting me or holding me back. No, I'm the only one that can do that. I am the only one that can limit myself and hold myself back. That is what is true power, taking total responsibility for that. And if there's only one, what am I doing to contribute to the world that I want to see? If there is cause and effect, am I contributing to the cause by being in fear, feeling hopeless, feeling helpless, or feeling that I am against and fighting something because I'm just going to keep getting more of that? Or am I elevating my vibration, knowing that all things are possible? All things are possible. This is a unlimited universe. There are so many possibilities that are available. There are so many possible dimensions and timelines and outcomes. And if I hold the highest vision, or at least the highest vision that I can imagine possible, if I see us all living in unity and in harmony, if I see and know at the core of my being that good prevails, without putting my attention on the negative, right? The highest good is unfolding at all times. Even if it doesn't look like that, even if it looks like it's negative, that negative often needs to happen in order for us to get to this other place. That's called contrast. And necessity is the mother of all invention. We don't evolve forward and come up with new solutions until we have a problem. And so we need a problem, or we need a need. There has to be a need to be met in order for something new to happen. And so this ascension is an evolution of consciousness, is an expansion of consciousness. And we see how it's happened over the centuries, that we keep expanding and growing and evolving, and the new technologies and the this and the that. And we don't need to demonize anything or any one way of life or any one kind of person. It's all contributing to the whole. Even if it doesn't look like it. It is this thing that looks negative, that maybe looks evil, is setting the world up for this next leap in amazingness. And so it is. Thank you all.